Okay, sound check. Everything seems to be good on my end now. The connection when I even started the stream was really bad last time, so I think we're good to go. I think. All right, I think we're good to go. Okay, so I'll give everybody a few minutes here to pile back in, and then we'll get started. So, all right. Alrighty, so I guess yeah, we'll wait for like 1 minute, 8:31, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the rest of whatever I was about to blabber about. You guys can see me pretty good. Hear me? No lag. I'm assuming that means that we're good. Okay. Alrighty, y'all. Let's go ahead and we're good. Okay. I don't know what happened. My son would just call it hackers, so we're gonna go with that. It was hackers. All right, perfect. Okay, so anyway, to finish on what I was talking about, if you did take the meta put, this thing gap down, pushed beautifully to the downside. So here's the deal, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet because that's really all it has to be. On the 4 hour, right? We've got a very, very, very bearish setup. A little bit loud there. But we have a really bearish setup, and today didn't close necessarily that bearish with a small doji candle here at support, but you can see this dynamic trend line. And we're relatively close, just pretty much sitting right there. We also can recognize that there is a not relatively, but a strong resistance that we have rejected and fell below 4 times. And so at this point, we do have what appears to be, and so we have a contradiction right here, and this is kind of what I want to talk about right now, is whenever we see a contradiction, whether it be 4 hour to hourly, right here, it appears that we do have a falling wedge, which is 9 times out of 10, well, I mean, they fail, but they can be reversal patterns. So tomorrow, and we do have hedges preparing for this. So tomorrow, if we do not gap down, and that's kind of the only option here for me. We either gap down and we gap down somewhere around like 153 or somewhere around there, and we'll probably have the same ordeal. We'll probably tap down and then we'll probably V-shape straight back up to retest. Oh, Miss Trader Pro, call me daddy. You know, it's always highs and lows with you. First the small comment, and then it's daddy. I don't know what to think. Cool. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Can you explain to me the market free unlicensed? I'm not. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So 157 right here. And this is what I like to do. 15-minute time frame. Box it out. Help yourself, because what you can do, and I explained this today, and I want to explain why I oftentimes like will just hold a trade or take a trade off of the top when I see 3 rejections off of any given resistance. So we see that 159 or 160 is an area where we have seen multiple rejections. We also can clearly recognize that there is a support right here around 157, and for some reason, there we go. So we do have a support right around that 157.50 mark. So it's as simple as this for me. And a 15-minute candle close, a 15-minute candle close below 157.50 with some strength. I'm not talking about, and this is obviously without that gap down. This is mRNA shorts were good. Yes, sir. And it's lining up. We might take it longer. I didn't actually take it myself, but I was right. So anyway, 157.50. I want to see it either gap down or move below that. And then the first target, because this is a daily support level, right? And we know that things can go. First of all, we know that everybody's looking down. So yes, we can totally go ahead and fall, but we need to still have some type of caution as to where we want to exit if we are to the downside. And where we want to exit here is where everybody else is liable to exit, right? So what does that mean? 159, we can see several times we have sellers push this back down, right? So if they're willing to take the short and I take the short right around the same area, which we did, it's as simple as this. When they have to likely get forced out of their position, I'm probably going to go ahead and get out of my position. And that's and that's obviously with proper contract selection. You pick the right contract, it has the right expiration. In theory, you should be able to have a little bit of leeway as far as holding through things or even just hedging things like we saw today with Meta. But anyway, really, we've talked about this mostly, right? So the cool thing here is we know that with consolidation comes what? Usually a big move. So it doesn't matter where Meta goes. If we have to close out of our 150s and just take this up to the upside, we know exactly where it's liable to go. And where it's most liable to go is this level right here. Why? This is the last major supply above us. 1, 2, 3 major bounces. You even get a crazy recovery back on top of it. And it takes a gap down and then retest, right? Because I know that I draw these lines, but you can do this yourself. In my mind, I can recognize that it's never going to just be a line, right? It's going to be a zone. And that's where we get into supply and demand. So right here, this would be a zone that you would be liable to retest, and that's going to be 162.35. And that also lines up with our little bit of a downtrend here. So above 159, running into 160 psychological number, right? If we have weak volume, you can guarantee that it's not going to give you much of a move at all, or it's going to shoot up and consolidate and give you some rough trading conditions. So either wait for clear volume, right? A clear break, higher time frame candle close, either below 157.50 or above 159. It's that easy. Not that easy, but obviously, if you're picking the right contracts, it can be a profitable move. We know where we can go. And if we do complete this gap fill to 163.16, there is squeeze potential. We could see the market start to move dramatically to the upside. So if you guys are having a hard time seeing on TikTok, hit the link in the bio and hop over to YouTube. It's a little bit easier. When you look at my charts and say consider whole numbers, do you mean for my price target entries? Could you explain? So what I mean by that is, let's say you have a target of 159.60. What sounds more attractive to a buyer or a seller, 160 or 159.60, right? There's a psychological number or the whole number, which is a psychological number that's worth considering. It's worth considering as a level that you would see either, seller step up or buyer step up, one or the other. And so while you may see, and this is where fake outs come in, right? So it's never going to be like a series of candle closes. Like you can take a look at here, right? The candles close at 162.88, but the wicks and the bottoms are at 162.20. So and I'm just giving this example in terms of like this is 163, right? That's where we see the majority of the candles close. And then below that, you've got 162.32, right? Not as prominent, but still a level or a zone. So you could be leaving money on the table, yes. But at the same time, you don't want to trade up into a whole number. So If you guys are hopping on YouTube, I appreciate all the viewers. I feel like I'm getting rated, but if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, and make sure that the YouTube algorithms don't take me out. Like through my window. So anyway, above 159.10 on Meta, I'd like to see a break to the upside, movement up into resistance 160, 150, or possibly, depending on the trajectory and the timing, maybe a move into this gap. So don't sleep on it. Don't be biased tomorrow. It doesn't matter what we think. If we gap down, the day's done. Okay, you wake up to money. See you later. If you are dropping a request, thank you for the ice cream cone, Joe Stacks. What do I think about Safe Moon? Rest in peace. I don't really know. I don't really have anything constructive to add to that conversation. Okay, so anyway, that's my watch list for tomorrow. That's about it. So if you guys are on YouTube, there's 50 of you guys. Just the $ and the ticker number. If you guys don't mind just dropping one per person, and we'll go ahead and start taking some requests. TikTok, same thing. If you guys want to hit the link in the bio, that's going to be the best place to find me. Can I please look at Tesla? Well, I'll look at it. All right, so Tesla, and I already pretty much have this charted. I already know what it looks like. It's got a giant, what looks to be a bearish pennant here. We've got 3 rejections off of the top, but right, not only do we have 3 rejections off the top, we'll talk about it again, or we've been talking about it, right? We've got this area of selling that's occurring right above us, and that's kind of be the benchmark, or where I see the majority of downside. So while we did see a bounce and a gap fill today, it was done on low volume, and my projection for Tesla does have it moving down to 662.70, and then obviously 660 being the psychological number. So let's go take a look at the 15-minute. So starting from your highs up here, moving down to your lows, it does appear that you have established a channel. And this is the one dynamic I want you to take a look at, because we could gap down, and if we gap down, I have a projected resistance that falls in confluence, right? And what that means is if I have a lower time frame trend line and a pivot point and a moving average, and they all just seem to line up at the same place, I can bet that that's an area to consider, or an area to consider as far more valid, I guess, if you will. And that's what we use indicators for. They're not to tell us, but only to verify. So anyway, Tesla above us, right? We have 1, 2, 3. That's where it's likely to go to the upside. That's 725. We've talked about this level multiple times. 725. Move this little bad boy up here. You guys see it. I'm just borrowing it. We'll put it back when I'm done. But we've got 735. That's the next. So when you break here, you move here. When you slam into this, you flush into that. When you reject, and this channel is likely broken. And if you see that movement to the upside, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but I could see it moving up into the 755 area, and that would be our resistance. So 755, 750, right around here. That's our 500 HMA on the 4-hour, and also that area of supply. So have you you want to know more about mRNA? Sure. The small account went through. Very popular today. Yes. That's the worst thing you do while you're popular, is so peace sign in a photo. No, I really think that mRNA returns back down to a far more reasonable, and I think public favor could end up falling as well. So please don't do this right now. Okay. I was about to. All right. Man, I bought puts on this today. On what? mRNA? I had those. So I had the September 16th $100 puts and $75 puts for October 22nd. I still think those are good strikes. But of course, they're speculative. I'm holding them up to 0. So anyway, Tesla, mark out your levels. So the most important thing that you can do, of course, to the downside, right? We've got the kind of head and shoulders looking here, but it's going to be the 685 685 to the downside. I do see a strong bounce off of what? 675. That's a psychological number. But considering the setup here, if you did have the proper volume, it's more or less about supply. And you guys can see, or excuse me, it's about demand. And that's going to be right there around the bottom of demand is going to be right around 665. So if you break this floor, it becomes your ceiling, and you're probably going to find your next floor. And then to the upside, again, 725. So the next one we've got is SPY. Never heard of it. Just kidding. All right, so we finished the day up against resistance with a 5-minute bull flag. Step out to the 15-minute. Still looks like doo-doo. What do you think you're doing, my boy? Hold on one second. Okay, so we did get a gap fill. So we gapped down heavy, got a gap fill, hit our downtrend coming out of this bearish pennant. I don't see that as an extension. That would really suck. It is possible, but it's only possible above 381. So SPY 381, and I'll just so I don't confuse you guys. It's going to be this area. Okay, so this green rectangle, we're going to want to move above 381.75. Why? Look at all this selling right here. Look at all these rejections. Right when we break above it, we flush back down. Here, that's where we bounce. That's where the consolidation, the retest happens before falling further, right? So that's the area above us, and that would likely extend this, unfortunately. So either A, we get a gap down, or B, shall name my grandson after you as a thanks for that challenge. All righty. That sound Potter or Garrett? I want you to make a hybrid version of those two names. Send it to me. I don't trade with moving averages. Should I be? That is a personal preference, Alex. I think price action reigns king, but for me, I like to have a little bit of extra verification. There is no question that people use moving averages as a way to as a benchmark for certain things. And so it's a personal preference. There's a lot of people who use the strat, right, that relies on moving averages. The moving average crossovers to the upside. So those are things that are done. Parrot is unoriginal. Okay, I've heard that one for forever. That one doesn't count. Although it is technically the most correct way to do that, but it's too easy. But I think practice with them, Alex. That's what this is all about. Is go ahead and put a few of them on your chart and see how it helps. If it makes it feel Gary Potter, Gotter. That's the one. So yeah. So anyway, if you have the moving averages and you like them and they make some sense to you, then I would definitely encourage you to keep going. So like I've never heard of the Golden Cross or like that kind of shit, man. Excuse my language, but I don't care about Golden Crosses. Golden Crosses are a great way to fake out retail with headlines that say, "Oh no, a Golden Cross happens," and then you flush it down make the Golden Cross happen, and then you rip it right back up and tear people right out of their pants. So moderators. What is the green and what? The green, that's a whole ribbon indicator. I should probably start taking moving average. So I can tell you this, Alex, is that Goddard and Gary Potter are hits. So I would say that where my moving averages do come in handy, they can be considered noise to other people. I see through them. I only see them when I need them, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So while it might be messy to others, it's not messy to me. So make sure that it feels good to you. We're all different people. A lot of people will oscillate with indicators, turn some of them on, off. So I would just explore some of your more basic ones and then go from there. So. Facts, Death Cross, Golden Cross is like Kramer. Yeah, it's straight up. Yeah, no problem. Looks like mad noise to me. Then keep it clean, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, man. Is just you can do what works for you. Use what works and trash what doesn't. Um, there's a bearish pennant, so that's currently what we've broken down out of, but we'll see. What did I say? No, I was looking at that. Here, I'll hit him. Oh, you know what it is? It's the ads. Um, you're my boy, Garrett. Thank you. You're my boy too. The Reeds 20 or person. I don't want to assume. So anyway, that's it for SPY. Let's keep moving because these are getting lost in the sauce. Apple. Ah, I already have Apple. So this one kind of gave a false rejection here. I wasn't entirely sure if I should even try to include this one, but I do see this as a valid resistance. It's actually coming off of this drop down. So take a look at this channel here. We did end the day right up against or near that channel. If we gap up in any sort of capacity and we hit like our around 149.50, I would venture to guess that we're going to get a crazy dump. Not like stupid crazy, but enough to like kind of, make you double take. But that would I would see Apple ending the day at a minimum of 145 and or around your pivot point and or depending on the selling pressure, because we are going into Friday, we could find ourselves at 143. But the beautiful thing here is that we are in a channel. We have 1, 2. Sorry, I don't know what just happened. 1, 2 bounces off support. That's easy enough. So we're looking for a rejection here. Now, how do we figure that, right? We do have this area, and obviously you've got kind of like this little box. But if we fall or fell back into this area, which would be around 147.35, I would venture to guess that you could take a confident position to the downside. Now, on the daily time frame, this still pretty much looks valid to me. The only difference is that Apple actually has broken its downtrend. So it would need to see a strong reversal off of this channel top in order to see a break and a pullback to the downside. So Apple still looks. Nancy Pelosi just sold her Apple position too as well on this pump. So she sold Apple. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, I don't know. I think this was an exit pump, but we'll see. You're the only stock analyst I trust on God. Oh, thanks, Brian. Computer high five. That's really nice. What is this? Natera? What did they do? They were doing great. What in God's name made you want to trade this thing? Are you trading this thing or are you investing? Are you shorting it? Okay, so $27 even is below you. You do have this. That looks like 45 bucks. Yeah, so $45. You need to get above $45. You've got a gap fill here to the upside. If you see a rejection, this does kind of look like an inverse head and shoulders. It's kind of ugly though. No offense, but shoulder, head, potential shoulder. So if you see a rejection off of this, and by rejection, I would say, and this is where you can zoom in a little bit further, right? And identify those key zones within it. So right here, and you can go across the board and see multiple rejections. 1, 2, right? I'm sure if I go back even further, So it looks like just a median. So this was the center where we oscillated on top of, rather than rejecting or bouncing on. That was a magnet, so we oscillated up and down on top of it. But we do see rejections here, here, and so if you fall back underneath 4170, I would venture to guess you're on your way down. So that would be the rejection that I would be looking for, and then ultimately it would be heading towards support underneath 3560. So and that is pretty clear right here. Look at all that. Bam, 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 bam. Breakout, right? Bam. Nothing. All right. Next one we got is AMD. Oh, did I skip over one? Twitty? Phil, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm assuming that it's Twitter. Twitty? So I'm going to be honest with you right here. I would never touch this stock right now with all the shit that they're going through with Elon Musk. I mean, him basically getting like, and I mean, I don't think that it goes through because, you know, he may end up having a solid point here. But in the meantime, you did get a gap fill here to the upside. You do have another gap above your pivot point, 3780, all the way up to 3860. Daily time frame, and this is such a garbage. Hold on a second. Hold the phone. Check it out. There's your Twitty. So right now, and I don't even have to, I can kind of just see it by eye. It's at the median in this channel. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit. Hold on. Looking a little cracky. There it is. 50% mark. There's also indicators that do this for you, so don't be like me. Look at that, dead center, chopped in the middle. And I think this could use a little bit more adjusting. But the point is if you move to the upside, the main bullish break would be 3865. And then finally, right, because we don't just trust a dynamic setup purely, we always want to make sure that we're adhering or respecting key levels. So it would be right around here, and that would be $41 for Twitter or Twitty to the upside. To the downside, obviously below the 50% mark of yesterday's high, 35.50, right? That's 50% of yesterday's gains. That's where I would venture to guess you're probably going to go for a gap fill to 34.12. So, is my boy Dev still here? James Velasquez, what were you talking about? You know me from where? From who? From how? Tell me more. Oops. Now we got AMD. Poopy. It is 8:57. We'll probably shut it down here at about 9:20. So, all right. Ooh. Okay. That's banging. That's bussing. All right. So AMD is so dumb. Here's what I got for you. So this is the overall structure that we're trading in. But here's what I see forming. Check it out. Boom. Bop. Pow. So right here, we still have an untouched resistance. There's possibility for a move to the upside tomorrow. And then it would be $81, just like I said, after that gap fill, right? Because not only do we look at dynamic setups, but we look at key levels because those are more important. So it's going to be $80.50, $81 even. And that's where you would be looking for that second rejection or third rejection, excuse me, off of the top. So something a little bit like this, maybe a little bit of consolidation choppiness, and then a move to the downside, ultimately, possibly, and we'll see because the sentiment's starting to change, would send AMD down to around $67.50. Or if it's just a 50% retracement of the pattern itself, as it usually is, that would be $75. Yes. So $80, absolutely. So $82 would be where I would. So this is how I kind of look at it, right? Check it out. When I go up, and this is why we don't look at just lines, right? It's a zone always. This is where sellers kept it down. This is where buyers held it up. This is where sellers kept it down, et cetera, et cetera. So that zone is what would define bullish for me, right? So above, and it would, you don't have much room to do it in, but it would be above 82.38, where I would actually see this as a potential runner, but that would mean the market is recovering or moving back to the upside. So there's a strong possibility that you see, if we do gap up tomorrow by some crazy chance, if we do gap up tomorrow, then I would actually look for a crazy strong gap fill to the downside, which would ultimately lead us down. And you could potentially look at taking a stronger position on AMD long, targeting the 60s, 70s, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna hit him with one of those. Thank you. Very detailed analysis. Oh, thank you. Thanks, man. Driving or I had childhood flashbacks from Tweety Bird. Standard deviation, correct. And I just drew that by myself, but um so who just said that? Licks. This is above you. Supply, right? Now we can always like take something like this, right? And that's just a zone in its own, on its own. But this would be the supply above me, right? That would mean, and if you turn the supply into demand, or you turn that ceiling into a floor, that's where you can see it start to take off. And it's just once you find those levels, it makes things so much easier. It really does. Do I do a tutorial on how to set it up like mine? No, I don't. I've never. I mean, I do have one, but it's old and it doesn't have the same indicators that I use right now. But I mean, it's something that I guess I could probably take a look at. So, if you guys have any requests, and you guys are on TikTok, remember to join the YouTube stream. R just stands for resistance 1 and resistance 2, right? So R1, R2, support 1, support 2, etc., etc. We getting the applesauce, y'all? All right, we got Amazon. Yeah. Every time I say Amazon, I just think of Jeffrey Bezos. Makes me sick. Yo, this is getting insane. Insane. I wonder if this is the bullish whip that people have been talking about, and we'll see. So we're in a really, really tricky area, and we're dealing with really, really inconsistent setups right now. As far as like, we've got a lot of contradictions. Check this out. Down, and this is how Apple ended, right? This is how a lot of other stocks ended. It does look like we've got this right here. So watch Amazon below 107. I thought you were laughing at me. I got really self-conscious and scared. No, just kidding. My cousin's here right now. I'm not just talking to nobody. But yeah, so anywhere below this bottom little trend line here, but not only that, that would look really, really good in terms of breaking down. So take a look at that right across the board. So I would say definitively below 105. Below 105, we might see Amazon take a crack. And I tell you what, if this thing gets to 102.35 and hits it with some force, Amazon is going to dump. I'm talking dump. And that's just as of right now. I mean, this thing can bounce. And I have the projection lined up here, right? I have the projection lined up so that because we still have resistance kind of tapped about 3 times right around 116.80, it would be a break in this downtrend that we just kind of noted here on the 15-minute, right? So a break in that downtrend and a move above 113, and we could see a gap fill and a resistance tap of 117. So Pepsi. Pepsi, I wouldn't even steal Pepsi. And I lived in Missouri, in a place called Aurora. Terrible place, don't go there. But they had a Pepsi factory there, and yeah, wouldn't even. I think there was like some of the off-brand drinks, but like as far as Pepsi, like the Pepsi, yeah, I wouldn't even steal it out of their own trash cans. Used to dumpster dive in there and get like a bunch of free soda. Pepsi's building strong. So check it out here. Right there. Got it. 167.50 across the board. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Big bounce. Rejection, build underneath, and retest. So that's bullish, right? In terms of holding. Anytime you break a new high and you pull back, you're looking for the most bullish bounce area, or the area where buyers consistently pick that up. And that seems like it is 167.65. So at the moment, you got a lot above you. And I would say most notably, obviously, the previous day's high, that's 173.16. But that's not it, because you got right directly above that. It's really 175, and that is a psychological number. But seeing that you only have 1, 2, it seems almost inevitable that we'll actually see, you might actually see Pepsi hitting 180. Based on this setup, this looks really, really good. We can go to the weekly as well and kind of get a better idea of how that's building. The one thing I just spotted when I went to the weekly, I wonder. So here's the deal. Now that I look at the weekly, and if we're using the doji strategy, I would say under 167.50, that's, ouch. That's where I would look for Pepsi to wick down, probably into the 165 area, and that's where you can see a bunch of giant wicks, right? So this zone that I just built for you is essentially where I would go short, below that median. That would be my short level, and I'd be looking for 160 target. To the upside, noting that we've hit 177 and that this would be the third time, and we've already had 1, 2, 3 off of support, then I would be liable to want to take a 180 strike, maybe going out a couple of months, because Pepsi's not a day tradable stock for me. So I missed it. What did you say? Going up and down? I don't know. How much help is that, though, if I just tell you up or down? You can find more out from Groundhog. Groundhog. What type of accent did I just pick up there? Having some past life things going on right now. All right, Disney. Ooh, thanks, past me. I already charted this in the past. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful standard deviation channel. This is art in my world as far as using a standard deviation channel is concerned, because whether you're moving to the upside, downside, doesn't matter. It's going to be this mark, this median here, that usually when crossed and closed above, you will see continuation to the upside. And you can see that even to the downside, same thing. As you fall, you accumulate, and then you bounce back about. So that being said, at the moment, you are dangling underneath support. So we see this 192.32. Now, this is a breakdown out of that zone, I guess we'll just call it that, but out of this demand, now supply. So falling below 92 and then tapping what I believe to be, yep, $90 almost on the dot. That's a psychological number. So there's a potential, right? Because you can't lose 90. You're not going to lose 90 automatically. But anywhere below $90 and anywhere in this zone, I think it's still short. But that being said, we need to go down to the hourly and get better details as to what is going on. And I can tell you right now that I'm moving in, I already know exactly what we got going on. we got one of these, and more than likely one of these. And what does that make? Channelception. Let's check that out. So I think you actually have either A, you fall out of this channel, or B, there's a lot of bears that are about to get their asses squeezed. No cap. But I would venture to guess $94 to the upside. Would be where you would want to see this thing. And you can see a notable, and I know I'm drawing like a bunch of funky lines, but here's how it goes, right? On the monthly or the weekly, we're going to have a setup. On the daily, there's probably a setup within that monthly or weekly setup that you found. On the daily setup, you might find a lower time frame hourly trend line setup similar to this that is only leading you into what? Possibly into the standard deviation channel before. Usually how this goes for me is, and I count this as one because it's generally just all price action in one, but 1, 2, 1, 2. So at the moment, I would venture to guess that you could see Disney retesting $98. And that's just as of right now, but that's not including or adding these key levels like 92.20. And I think that's going to be really useful because not a lot of people are probably watching that. And then again, it's never a line, it's always a zone, always. And so that zone spans from this mark that I gave you of 92.35 all the way up to 93.50. All right. Liver King out. Disney. I'm letting the intrusive thoughts get to me. I'm just kidding. The TikTok thoughts. BA? Really? You guys want me to look at that? These beats are busting. There's no way. That's not real. Give me a second, y'all. There it is. Got it. Got you. Got you. Okay, so it appears that BA is pushing up into the and really definite like straight up 150. 150 daily candle close, or even I would say maybe hourly candle close, strong bullishly above 150. And I would consider BA running up into the 157 areas easy. Not necessarily one day, but you can tell when Boeing likes to pop or likes to drop or likes to move from supply to supply. This thing does not mess around. It is I don't trade it, but it is a scalpable stock. So I don't trade moving averages. Oh, I already read that. Whoops. Are you going to be able to see my entries on the small account for the free Discord? Yes, I will be signaling, but here's the deal. If I'm on live and something happens fast, I'm prioritizing positions over typing it out. So I know I will absolutely do my best in trying to make sure that I signal these things. So, but yes, for the most part, almost all those signals will be dropped there. So, whoop. Hey, I'm a new trader. My TA isn't the best. What tickers do you think would be easy to practice on in paper trade? Thanks, Dad. All right, son. So the first thing that I would do is go pick up a high volume ticker from each main sector, right? So let's take a look at what that means. And you can literally just I'm just going to recommend that you don't necessarily try to make it easy for yourself. Don't try to like, I mean, I'm not saying, like expose yourself to like, Shopify, right? Or like Jmia or something like, that has, or a penny stock. But I would say anything that has a name is safe to chart, right? So anything that has their name listed or even their ticker listed is something that I think, and I'm gonna tell you guys that like even charting for you and charting for people has made me a better trader, right? So before that, I was charting and trading, maybe a limited amount of stocks. But as I started, and I did post a ton of ideas, but I didn't switch up a lot. But just by, and this is something that one of the most important things that I've learned is it's the people who find something that works and then shut themselves off that eventually go through these year, month, weekly like downfalls where like sometimes they end up losing a lot of money or feeling like they have no idea what they're doing. But it's the trader who, although it's intimidating but worth it, is trying to find out or know the price action behind like certain sectors, how certain things move. So even though you may never trade health services or process industries, like you may not trade any of those ever, but if you go to that sector as a new trader and you just go learn, you're going to have a better idea of how each sector trades, right? And so then as you develop your strategy, you can see where your strategy is best filled or best met. And so like for me, when I first started, Apple, Microsoft, Coke, not very much, sometimes Pepsi. I traded Nike sometimes. All vaccine stocks were going nuts. So, at some point I traded those, but mostly in the beginning, I stuck with those basic good movers that people think of when they think about the stock market. That's the main thing is like when you think about the stock, when you say to somebody who doesn't know anything about stocks, like, are you interested in stocks or something like that? Or like, you get in a conversation with them, they're going to give you like 5 companies that they know of. And it's probably going to be Apple, Tesla, like, it could be a toss up, be like Coca-Cola or General Motors. Like these are well-known stocks and not necessarily all trading at the same velocity or volume. So, yo, Potter, what's up? What's up, Tom Twisted? Um, what chart service do I use? Syra Trades. What's up? I just cracked my Achilles heel, dude. You hear that? That hurt. You felt it. Like blue chip stocks, right? So this is something that more of you, there's 50 of you in here, and I do this for my students, but if you're in the free Discord, there's a free Discord chat. I'm not going to get to all of them, but you know what? The ones that pester me, I'm not bothered very much. Now don't go crazy now, but if you're posting or tagging me and you're posting a chart, especially after hours or something like that, and I see it, I'm more than happy to take a look at it for you, or even just verify, certain levels or tell you whether something looks good. And a lot of our admins are the same way. So you can actually go to the free chat, tag admins, and just ask them what they think about your chart. And there's a ton of people who'd be happy to give you their opinions. So, but that's kind of how it starts. Is you kind of have to go out there, and this is the one thing that I think messes people up with almost every job that you get, or even college. There's like a step by step, right? A process. Like you take, you get to college, you take, you get into your dorm, you like, get your classes, talk to a counselor, and like whatever. Get a job. You have like a list of things you have to learn how to do until you can like get into your position. This is not like that, right? There's no list of things. It's what are you looking to get out of the stock market and how, what do you need to expose yourself to in order to learn. So, but anyway, it is 9:20, guys. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys one more chart here to the downside, or to the downside. I'm already assuming. Look at me. I'm a natural bear. I can't help it. To finish out the stream with what I guess is not red, but with the bearish sunglasses. So let's go ahead and look at Baba. Are we gonna see a bounce? Ooh. Why do you want me to look at that? Sorry, I'm reading your guys's. Julio, where do you post those at? What's your name on Discord and we'll take a look. But where are you posting those at? Is that the free chat? Or anyway, whatever it is, just DM it to me and I'll figure out. Maybe you're in a empty channel or something like that. So all right. Well, I'll do one more here. We're gonna do Starbucks. Did I already do that one? Maybe even in live trading. I mean, I'm live every single morning. Um, especially if you're in the paid section, a little bit different. But all right. So here's what I see for Starbucks. You do got a good build here. You got a big gap fill candle here. So I would venture to guess if you do head up, watch, and we're gonna move down to the hourly here. Because I know it's here. I just want to chart it. So from the high, from the wick, drop your line. There it is. So 98.62. Now there is, of course, just like there always is, this area. So basically $79. But above $79, watch the if you're looking for the Discord, the link is in the bio for the free Discord. It's one of the top links. That's just seeing my channel, nothing else. So or not the educational and stuff like that. But as far as admins are concerned, I'm the only one that you can see. So, but anyway, I would look for it above $79. You're more than likely going to go and retest this very same downtrend, maybe even testing $80. But it would be above $80 definitively that I would want to see a break to the upside, and then to the downside on this lower time frame. I like that. Yeah. So I would say right about there. So and that's in confluence with 95.81. So all right. All right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh yeah, no, Jonas. Wait, what was your first request? Didn't you? No, you didn't. You didn't drop a request. Oh, you did drop one, but it was Pfizer. All right, I'll look at it really quick. Pfizer probably looks like mRNA, hot garbage. So there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. So again, not a line, but a zone. The zone is here. Auto zone, $50.45. Little tiny gap fill here to $50 even. And then ultimately bearishness, I believe, ticks over around 49.75. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on that level. So, all right. You guys have been awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bright and early. If you have a setup and you see the setup and you see the price action, I'm going to keep reiterating this all next week. pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. There's nothing left to do. If you pull the trigger and you know where your stop loss is, there should be no issues. So anyway, have a great night, guys. Peace. Where's the chat? That is on the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early.